Alright, welcome to the Premier Race Network. This is Ned Adams, and I'm bringing you a re-air of our race that we ran last week at Las Vegas. Our system partner, ISBC, had a technical issue and was unable to bring you the broadcast full and live, so we did a re-air on Wednesday. We're going to test out our systems with a new system that we're working with and hoping that it works better. And we'll be testing the system as we go here tonight, watching this race again for the second time. And then we're going to upload this race to the Facebook and over to YouTube as well. So right now we have Ned Adams on pole. That would be the first pole of the year that he was able to get. He's coming off the win at Daytona in the Daytona 250, the season opener for the Cup cars in the 2020 season. This is our 16th year of racing, and we're going to see the pace car hit pit road here and watch the cars as they take off. Green, 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 and they 25-mile race at Las Vegas. So we're going to take a look through the field here, and occasionally it'll pop around. We're looking at Edgar Hall here in the number 50 as he sort of slides backwards. He did not get himself a good start. Up front, Ned pulls away and gets himself right into the lead. There's Edgar having himself a little bit of a trouble keeping the car down and he's in a safe position. You're looking at the 50 car. Yeah, he's still up high now. Right alongside of that is the 81 car of Damon Lynch out of New Zealand. The 35 car is that of Anthony Hawkins out of the UK. So remember, since an international group of drivers, UK, United States, Canada, the drivers from pretty much anywhere around the world on iRacing. So a nice mix in the iRacing community. You can see up front there's quite a battle going on for the first place. You can see that lane there is trying to make the move on the high side, but down low, Wayne Grass, our defending series champion, is aligning himself with the bottom line and trying to get himself a draft going and pull himself into that second position. You'll see right behind him Timothy T-Man Wallace right there, a driver who's been with the league since 2004, so one of the originals, still running with us after 15 years, working on the 16th right now. Good to have him running with us. Very good driver in the Cup Series, among other series as well. So you'll see right now the 5 car has made the pass on the 24. 24 is Everett Lane. He's new to the league and he's had himself some really good runs. Finished third at Daytona. In the preseason, he got himself a couple of wins in the preseason races that we had throughout January and midpoint of February. Right behind him, the 85 car, that's Gil Gott. A winner in the Cup Series with the Premier Race Network. Got himself a win in 2017 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Claims it's one of his favorite tracks, no doubt. Behind him, that's a 642. Wolf, also new to the league and runs his own Twitch feed, dirt racing, sprint cars and whatnot. So have myself a look at that. That's pretty interesting, and you might want to wander over there and take a look at some point there at the Facebook feed that he has. Behind him, that's the 19 car of Cindric Ingram, and he is year to the lead. Competed in the second half or two-thirds of the series. Got himself some pretty good runs at the end. Frank Wineset in the 15 is in 8th, and Blair Stevenson, that number, is in 9th, followed by Michael Adams in the 03. Behind him, Sean Ernakorma, and then there's a big gap to the second group. These cars are broken up into two groups right now. So we're going to watch the front run here a little bit and until these guys all sort of settle down. They seem to be battling an awful lot for position, and you know that the draft is going to play a huge part in this race. Basically, these cars are super heavy on the downforce, less horsepower than they used to. They went more on the downforce and made these cars stick an awful lot, but then that wears on the tires and slows them down, so they sort of pack race right now. When the tires are fresh, that won't be so evident because they'll just all sort of stick together and follow each other. But once the tire wear comes in, you'll notice some of the cars will start to lose the ability to stay stuck to the car in front of them with the loss of aero on the nose of the car and the loss of grip because the tire wear. It'll make the front end shove, so they won't be able to stick to that car, and then that'll create gaps throughout the field. You see the cars that have some good solid settings hold the track a little bit better and be able to make maneuvers to pass positions. So right now, again, we're going to go back to 9th position. That's where Michael Adams is running, and right behind him, Blair Stevenson. Sean Ermakora is in 11th. Damon Lynch has lost the front pack, is in the middle of those two packs, and then Frank Peachock in the 13th position with Tim Phillips running behind him. Robert Engelman in the 69 cars in 15th with Anthony Hawkins. We spoke with him at Steve Benjamin with the Clicking with Canines, number 94, is in 17th. Justin Hurst 18th. Wes Hurd Jr. in 19th. Edgar Hull, earlier mentioned, is fallen to 20th. Up front here, still Ned Adams leading the 5 car of Wayne Grass, and that's Everett Lane in the 3rd position, just ahead of T-Man Timothy Wallace in the number 26. Let's move a little bit down this here. If I can just find there, it's T-Man right there in the number 26. Let's try and get a different camera angle and see what these cars are looking like as he tries to make a move on the inside of Everett. Everett, you see him up on the high side there, having a wee bit of a trouble keeping the front of that car pinned down to the yellow line. He slides up high and through onto the 3rd position goes T-Man Timothy Wallace. Now Everett's not going to give up on that high side, and hopefully if he can get a push with the draft, he can make that position back at a later date. But looks right now like the 26 is going to be able to make the pass. He gets a little bit of a shove from the 19 of Cindric England, and that's the fellow that pushed the 66 car to the win at Daytona. So he can draft with the best of them, and did so at Daytona. Right behind him, you'll see Gil Goff there in the 85 car. Again, he's making a move as we speak. Let's go back and take a little bit further back. There's Michael Adams in the 03, and Blair Stevenson, you can see him back in the 75 car, has fallen to that tail end of this lead pack group right now. Right there, you see Mike working on the 15 car of Frank Wineset. Frank Wineset is currently new to the league, and just joined this year. I believe he's teamed or aligned with the 642 Gene Wolf. I believe that these fellows work together and have a lot of dirt racing experience. There you can see right there the 642 of Gene Wolf. Doing quite well here in this race. You can see that a little bit back, or a little bit further back there, you can actually see that's Blair Stevenson in the 75 car. Let's go and have a good close look at that car. Two Can-Am sponsored Toyota. So behind him, you can see up here we got Steve Benjamin, the 69 of Robert Engelman are battling for position. That's the 2 car of Justin Hurst who is inside. Those 2 are teammates, the 69 and the 2, along with the 55 car of Frank Peachock. Seen the 94 Clicking with Canine sponsored Camaro. That's Steve Benjamin, also extensive dirt racing background, 14 years running late models and well, I'm guessing they were called street stocks back in the day, back in what, the end of the 90s and early 2000s. So since made his move to sim racing and is 2-time defending ARCA Series champion. You can see some of his videos on our website. Go and take a look at PremierRacingNetwork.com and click on that videos tab to see some of his actual racing. You see also the 12 car there. That's Wes Hood Jr. making his way towards the front, and he's also he runs dirt late models out of the PA area. Is going to be part of the Fast Track series this year. So if you're in the PA area and you want to see some racing, I'm not sure the name of the tracks, probably Williams Grove among others. You'd probably be able to see Wes in his car, and his car is that color. It's actually flat black, and those are his sponsors that he runs on his real late model car. So if you have a chance, you're in that area, look him up. Ought to be a fun time. Behind him, you can see Randall Ballard there in the 28 car, and the 39 car, that's Rob Denoff. He's a long-time member. In the 08 of Ken Allen, you can see him here in the 711 car. He's been with us for a year and a bit now, and always showing up, prepared, ready to go racing. Good fellow to have racing in your league. Let's move up a little bit more here and see where they... Peachock seems to be has disappeared at some point. I don't quite see where he's landed now. I'll try and find him. Peachock, where is? Oh, there he is. He's been having computer issues and told me that his power supply seems to be the issue. It's been blanking out, so yeah, he didn't have a good run at Daytona. Finished back, and here in the second race, he's hoping that he's had those problems resolved. So right now, currently running in the 8th position. Wait a minute. He's currently running. Well, I'm not really sure now. Oh, there he is, 13th. 13th, right behind Damon Lynch. And then Robert Engelman's in 14th, with Steve Benjamin at 15th, Wes Hurd, and then Justin Hurst, the 2-car teammate to Robert Engelman, and the 55 car here that we're looking at, Frank Peachock. Let's go back up to the 75 car. Is having a slight blinking issue right here. Was having an awful time at Daytona. You could see him dropping through the field as he was blinking in and out, and you know, when you're drafting, drivers don't want to get on the bumper and draft with you if you're having a blinking issue. So back up front, Ned Adams in the 66 car here is putting on a show. He's got 3 drivers with him. He's got two cars that are following with him so far. The 5 car of Wayne Grass, and then the 26 of T-Man Timothy Wallace. Riding along here in the first stint, these cars can go roughly 55 laps on a set of tires and fuel. If you have your car set up right, you're not eating that right front up, you should be good. Go back, take a quick look and see where Michael Adams is. That's Ned's brother, running right now. At this point, I believe he's running in 4th behind Wayne Grass, but we'll have to wait for actually in 5th behind or 6th. Oh goodness, I don't know where he's running. Let me just take a look at the ticker while I'm at it. He's running in 7th right now. That's Sean Ermacora there right behind him, and he's been off iRacing for a bit, now recently come back, joined the league, and out running with the number 8 car there, trying to make his comeback in the Cup Series. Back up front, 66 is pulled away. Let's go and grab a different camera angle. You can see his car is handling quite nicely there. He's pulled out a huge gap on the 2nd and 3rd place vehicles, and seems to be in control of this race at the moment. Let's go and have another look at, let's go back and see Steve Benjamin. He's leading that 2nd pack, and they're running a good bit behind, maybe 6-7 seconds behind the back end of the front pack, which you can see up in front there. Yeah, so you can see the battle right there. So 14th, that would be Steve Benjamin and 69 with Justin Hurst following along in the 2. 17th position, that's Wes Hurd in the number 12. Rob Denoff in the 39 with Ken Allen in 19th position. Randall Ballard in 20th. Tim Phillips now in 21st. Edgar Hullen in 22nd. Matthew Calentine in 23rd with Anthony Hawkins. Our UK driver has pulled it into the pits with an engine working on that to try and get it out back on track. Back up front, you can see Ned is still leading this race here. As soon as we can find the camera on him, he's got himself quite a gap back to 2nd place, which is Wayne Grass. You see a little bit of smoke up there in the corner, and the caution's out. Alright, so what was that about? We are not so sure. We're gonna have to have a look and see where that came from. We've found it here. It's the 69 car, Robert Engelman. You can see him here on the high side, and he gets his car up, and this is a 12 car move up, and he just hits the outside wall, and then manages to get it straight righted, but only after impact with the 28 car. of that'd be Randall Ballard. Back up front, we have the 66 following the pace car. Pit road should be open this time by, and you'll see the leaders heading down pit road to make their stops. 33 laps on a set of tires. We'll see just where they're going to go from there. Obviously, they need fresh tires. The tire mod eats these things up quite quickly, and if you're not on fresh tires, you're not at par with the other cars out there. You're going to be left in the dust. You can see them working on the right side of the 66 car, take the tires off, put down the new ones, and then they're going to roll back and then get the other tires properly set up. And the 5 car breaks away from the pit stall quicker and gets it out in first position over the 66 car of Ned Adams. So we'll bring you the running order as soon as they come back to green here. We'll have ourselves a little bit of a wait to try and get the timing and scoring settled. It's still showing the 66 in the lead with Wayne Grass in second, T-Man in third, so that would have been basically off the last lap. There's the 03 of Michael Adams running along there after coming out of the pits in the top 10. Good solid day to be out at Las Vegas. That's Tim Phillips coming down the backstretch. I believe he stayed out to try and lead a lap. We have the 69 of Robert Engelman, who was involved in that wreck, coming down pit road as well. And you can see the 24 of Everett Lane also making a pit stop here, possibly getting some adjustments, see if you can't get this car settled down a little bit more for the second half of this race. So up front you see the 50 of Edgar Hull. He stayed out to lead a lap. Good idea, because we pick up bonus points for leading a lap in the Premier Race Network. So each driver that leads a lap will get an additional 5 bonus points, and then if a driver leads the most laps, they get another additional 5 bonus points. And you see Edgar Hull pulling down below the white line there, heading towards pit road. He's got his 5 bonus points for the season points chase, and now he's heading off into the pit road, grab himself some tires and put himself at par with the other cars. It's a good idea, a good plan when you're at the back of the pack anyways. You may as well stay out and grab those 5 bonus points. Up front now you can see the 5 car of Wayne Grass. He's going to pick himself up 5 bonus points for leading this lap, and then hopefully he'll be able to hold off the 66, the 19, the 26, and the 85 that are right behind him. The cars are lining up double file, which means the lights are out on the pace car, and we're about to go back green. Now, watch and see the action here as it unfolds. You can see the sun is shining brightly down on these cars and gleaming off the sides. Some pretty spectacular paint schemes on these cars, and love to see them running in a pack like that under the sunlight. It's a pretty awesome sight to see. There's a good look at the 5 car. Let's go and have ourselves a look a little bit further back. But Mike Adams here, take a look and see what he can see. There's Steve Benjamin. Damon Lynch, Frank Weinset, Gene Wolfden, the 642, all surrounding them. The pace cars in, you're going to get the green here, and as soon as they get the green, they're going to head back onto this, and you can see right now, green, green, green. These cars start to accelerate hard out of the box here and header down into turn one. The upper lane is good, but not so good at the start of the line. The tire has not been laid down on the track quite yet. You got to get some cars running up there to actually get the wear down. The 5 car quickly pulls up to block the advance of the 66 there, but 66 is getting loose, and he manages to save it. Oh, but there's an awful whack of cars in the background there that have found themselves in trouble. Oh, that was the car of Ken Allen. He got himself completely turned around. So these guys will have to get back going the other direction and do this restart all over again. And we're going to go and have a look and see here. No damage on the 66, but he's lost an awful lot of positions, falling back through the pack here. Got loose and just slid down off the racing line, got himself down below the white line, didn't come up back into traffic, which is a good thing, but apparently a few of the other drivers in behind that or up on high didn't quite know what to do, and in their attempt to avoid it, others got caught up and mixed up in it, and around they went. So they bring out a second caution here. Gotta say, our average in the Premier Race Network for cautions last year was very low, actually. That was our 15th year. Quite proud to have made it 15 years of league racing. That's an awful long time to be sim racing. It's 17 of the 36 races last year with 2 or less cautions, so quite a capable field of drivers that we have at the Race Network, and it's staying true. I mean, basically we had 1 caution at Daytona. The truck race, which was held the Thursday before this, went green, no cautions, and then the Xfinity race, which was held the day before this one, also went green with no cautions. So pretty spectacular driving capabilities for all the drivers there. You see the 50 car has made himself around one, now he's making himself around the other. It turns out he is the lucky dog, so they'll be waving him by on the high side so he can get a lap back. And there he goes down the straightaway. 96 car, that's Matt Callentine, and just in front of him, that's Randall Ballard, the 2 car, Justin Hurst up there, just behind Steve Benjamin. Steve Benjamin, the number 94, clicking with canines, is following Blair Stevenson. And Blair Stevenson is running the Can-Am number 75 Toyota. In front of him, that would be Wes Hurd Jr. in the 12 car. And that is, again, the paint scheme that he runs for his Dirt Series car that he runs in the PA area. You gotta go and see a race in Pennsylvania. Then you'll want to see that number 12 car. It's a beaut. In front of him, that is Frank Weinset that you're looking at right there, as he's running currently in the top 10. That would be Gil Gach just ahead of him, and then Michael Adams running currently in 3rd with the Mercer Race Car Engineering sponsored Toyota. In front of him, that would be T-Man Timothy Wallace in the Bacardi Rum Toyota, and the field is being led by Wayne Grass here, our defending series champion, in the 5 Pennzoil Shell machine. So So let's go back and see the 66 who was leading this early on and actually had started the gap of the top 10, has fallen all the way back to, if I'm not mistaken, right about 11th now. Some cars pitted as they were rolling around here. Yes, there he is in 11th. So he has his work cut out for him to try and make it back to the front. We're going to watch and see just how and if he can do that. Let's hop on board here and see what he's going to have to deal with up front of him. That's a good distance to make up, and you've really got to be able to make some moves and pass some cars here on a track that's very tough to pass to start with. Up front, the pace car is getting the signal to go back to green this next time by, and you'll see them lining up double file here behind the pace car, ready to make another go at it. Hopefully they can keep it green this time by. So we're going to focus on the 66 car and watch as he tries to make it back from the 11th position right now. And how long that'll take him, that's something. And he's probably going to use up an awful lot of tire getting there. So you've got to be very careful not to abuse your tires too much at the start of these runs and cause yourself more damage than good if you're over driving the car. And here, I have a good look at it there from the TV camera here that they have up by the grandstands, and see just how far back it is. Mid-pack right about now. And their pace car is off, and it's about to go green. So, green. There we go. Before the start-finish line, so everybody's managed to get across that finish line, and it's looking quite good right now. So as they go into turn 1, you can see up front Mike's making a bid for second place there with the help of Frank Weinset in the 15. He's pushing him on by T-Man, who's up high with the 26 car. Gil Goff is tagged onto the back bumper of Frank Weinset there, and that makes a nice little train of cars. You can see the 66 has made his way up high. He is pulling up behind the 75 of Blair Stevenson right now. He's going to try and do is get himself some draft. If you can get some draft, you can make maneuvers. If you can't get a draft, you're going to go back. Oh, and he moves to the inside here. He's going to try and draft off and Gil Goff. You can see Gil right there in front. That's Wes Hurd. Wes Hurd's getting a little bit loose and moves up the track. Wow. Real dirt track experience there, holding that car under him as loose as it was. You see the 66 has made it right through, and he's in 6th place right now, working on the back end of the 85 car. That's Gil Goff ahead of him here. He's got himself quite a tow and quite the momentum, having passed already 5 cars to get to this position. He started in 11th here on that green flag that we just had, so now he's got to try and manage to get past these guys. He's getting to the bottom of the 85 car here. As soon as the 85 is aware that he's there, well, he has nothing more to do than just allow the pass to happen, because the 66, once he's put the fender up alongside of you, there's not much chance you're going to get by unless you guys both that type deal. So 66 is moving up to the high side again. He sees his brother's car up there, and T-Man poked out for a little bit of draft, and then now he's going to try and get to the 0-3 on the high side. These cars both out of the same stable, have the same setup, and work well together. Many years of racing between these two brothers, and you can see them work the high line there behind Wayne Grass, and just up high, just above the track on the 26 and the 15 of Frank Weinstein. There's the 5 cars. He moves up a little bit, try and put a little bit of a block on the 03's advances, and the 03 on the high side here, so you get a good solid push from the 66. Is it enough to get on by? We don't know. We'll have to take a look. He gets right to the high side of the 5 car, and the 5 maintains the lead here. Definitely a challenge from Mike was very close to leading that lap there, if I'm not mistaken, but not good enough. Wayne says, I'm going to keep this front spot. Thank you very much. And they carry on down the back stretch. These cars are closing up. Of course, these are early on in the laps. The tires are not worn out yet. The cars with the good setups are not quite shining through yet. That takes some time. You have to get these cars on the tire where it is significant enough to break away from the pack. So again here you can see the 03, he's working on the high side, comes up behind Wayne. He's going to cut to the inside. There was a gap there and it was superb. It was a nice pass. He gets to the inside. That moves Wayne up high. Wayne's now falling to second, and Mike Adams goes on to take the lead right there. Up front, Michael Adams pulling the 5. The 66 still up on the high side here. He is really working that outside lane. He gets himself down tight. Wants to grab himself a little bit of a side draft off of this. Mike moves up to the high side, so 66 is going to steal that draft and drag himself up close, right beside the 5 car on the grass. A little bit of side draft here on the 5 car. That gives him enough momentum up the high side. Gets him up there. He's down on the bottom, still holding the lead. Wayne Grass still trying to make that move. You see that high side working there? The 66 has made it around the 5 car, and now he's up in second position. T-Man Timothy Wallace follows through on the high side, and he gets himself up to 4th position. You can see the 03 of Mike is still holding the lead. Ned in the 66 is going to try and make a pass here. Now, does he stay on the high side? Side draft around the corner? We'll see right now as he gets into the corner here. He's on the high side. The momentum's it's insufficient. So he's going to have to pull back down draft with him. No, he's actually made the move, the crossover. Made the crossover in front of Wayne's number 5 car. And he's now on the inside. Well, can he pull this thing off and get himself back to the lead after falling back to 11 on that restart? 66 has now got the lead. With the 03 in second, the 5 of Wayne Grass in third, T-Man Timothy Wallace in fourth, with the 15 of Frank Weinstein in fifth. Behind that, you have Gil Gock in the 85 trying to make a move on the inside, the 24 of Everett Wayne up high, 19 of Cedric Ingram, and the 642 of Gene Wolfe. And they're currently so Mike Adams got himself into second position right behind Ned Adams with the 5 car of Wayne Grass. Being pushed along by T-Man Timothy Wallace up high. Frank Weinstein there. Gil Gock throws the block on the 24. The 24 was trying to get around him, but Gil said no thank you. He pulled the block and that managed to push him right past the 26. Are the 66 of Ned Adams, the 03 of Mike Adams, the 5 of Wayne Grass, 15 of Frank Weinstein, and in 5th position, that's Gil Gock in the 85 car. Right behind him, Timothy T-Man Wallace in the 26. There's the 642 going by the high side of Everett Lane. That's Gene Wolfe. And then behind that, that's Cedric Ingram in the 19 car. These guys are really going at it. Again, we're early on in this set of tires, so we got to wait for a little bit for the tire degradation to happen. Once that starts to happen and the tires start to wear off, you'll see the cars that have better handling tires, if you want, start to gap those behind. The ones behind need the draft, but once the tires start to wear, well, that draft is also removing downforce to the front of the car, and then they can't stay down against the line and run later on when they had good solid mechanical grip. You see the arcing into the corners here, that's also something that helps these drivers along. You don't want to be pinned down to the inside making your corner, or staying down low when you're coming up off the corner. You see the 66 comes up off the corner, goes straight to the wall. That's done on purpose. The same with the 03, the way he arced it up before going into the corner, and then arcs it coming out of the corner. When you come out of the corner, you want to let that free roll up the hill a bit. Going into the corner, you want to be up as high as you can and then cut down. If you're down low, what happens is you're wearing your right front tire off, and then later on in the run, the car's not going to be turning. See how they get up high here along the wall? That's all done on purpose. Down to the inside here, they cut in from the higher point up. If you're tight against that line going into the corner, you're going to shove up the front of the car is going to shove up the hill at one point. So you basically want to go from the tri-oval straight out to the wall and then cut back down. You see how they're cutting down like that? Down to the center of the corner, the apex, and then they'll roll it straight up towards the wall to keep the momentum up. As the two brothers were doing right there, that's the perfect way to run these oval racetracks. Down to the center line, and then let it go up to the wall. Free it up so that it doesn't lose any speed or momentum. Then go down to the center, then go back up to the wall. Look at them go right up there. Then they cut it back down. They try to get to the center point right there, and then they're going to let it drift up, coming off the corner. That's the way to maintain the momentum. So you got a nice line of cars here. That's 1, 2, 3. That's at least 10 cars that in a line all working together. Yep, these guys have not started to wear their tires off. That's about, I'd say about 25 laps on the tires. On lap 38, so maybe a little bit less than 25 laps. But these guys here, once the 30 lap mark hits, you'll see the cars start to extend. The ones that have good handling cars will start to pull away. You'll notice the ones that are having difficulty with the turning, the front end's going to wash up. They're going to try and stay with the car in front of them, but the front of the car is going to start to slide. And they'll slide up a little bit, and a little bit more each time that they go through these corners until they stick to the back bumper of the car in front of them. That's the sign that the front tires are going on them. So right now you can see their top 5 guys are still linked together. The other fellows are battling back there in the second half of this top 10 group. You can see them side by side. Well, what that's going to do is going to pull them back. And it's going to allow these 5 front runners to sort of gap them and pull away. Right now is 66, and Ned Adams leading Mike Adams of Wayne Grass, and then the 85 of Gil Dock, followed by T-Man Timothy Wallace. And you can see Frank Winesett there got himself loose in the 15, went down, touched the apron. Well, that's not going to help his advances either. You can take a look behind him. That's the 642 of Gene Wolfe, and then the 19 of Cedric Ingram. Laps, which is 225 miles here at Las Vegas, so it's not a short race by any means. You can see the 5 cars got himself up in the high lane there. He's going to use the draft off the 03 to pull himself back ahead of the 85 of Gil Dock. See the front of his car is not sticking to that yellow or to that white line anymore, and he's starting to lose touch with the 03. And that's a sign that the front tires are giving up grip. Goes in low here, you'll see, gets to the back, and then the car starts to wash up the hill. When that happens, you're basically telling the other drivers that your front tires are starting to give up. Once they see that, it's like blood in the water for a shark. As soon as your car gets up off the bottom, someone's going to try and put the nose of their car down there. And I think right at this point it's going to be really bad. He's working the back of that 5 car over, trying to see where he's going to end up if you can make the pass on. But wait a minute, that 26 is coming in real strong behind the 85. Maybe they're going to draft together and both take a lap at that 5 car of Wayne Grass. Again, Wayne Grass is a talented race car driver. He's been running with the league for 6 years now, and got his first championship last year. National Championship. He won the National K&N Series, and the Truck Series, and the Cup Series. So 3 championships in 1 year, and the first championships in 5 years. So currently on his 6 years, trying to become only the second driver to repeat a championship run at the Cup Series level in the history, the 16-year history of the league. You can see him working. He's trying to gain that last 0-3 back, and they all seem to be kind of drafting together right now. And for lack of a better term, they're playing nice with each other right now. Behind there, you can see the group, the back half of this top 12 field is got themselves a little bit of gap to make up. And if a caution were to come out, they might be able to bring that back together, but they're kind of battling a little bit back there. They line up and see a little bit of an indent made on the gap that they're having to the first top 5 cars. Again, up front, you can see the 66 is just starting to pull a gap there. Maybe, 3-4 car lengths in the corner, but then it shortens up on the straightaway. So I'd say the 66 has got himself a good handling car here. Again, you have to free these cars up coming off the corner, and then make sure that you make a wide entry into the corner so you're extracting off speed. They're all looking to get to that last pit stop, and that's usually the mark of a good league, is when they're racing and you got green flag racing and you're going to have green flag pit stops, and you want to get to that point where you need to get in there. So they're on lap 71 of 150 here. Just a couple more laps, a few more laps, and they'll be at halfway. So that'll be 113 laps, 113 miles in the books of 225. And we're watching here, the gap is growing now between the 66 and the 03, and the 4 cars behind are lining up to try and draft up to the 66, and that's see the 5 car, the way it sort of drifted up the hill. That's basically it's using the handle. Now Gill's gonna see that and definitely work on the back of that 5 car here, along with Timothy T-Man Wallace in the 26. There he goes up the hill. He's going to have to let off there as you come off the corner. Whenever that happens, there's only one remedy to it. You have to release the throttle, and otherwise you're going to knock the wall down because it won't turn under acceleration. So now they've got them all stuffed up behind the 5 car. That whenever racers see that, when they see a gap opening in the front, they really want to put the pressure on that car and then make some maneuvers to get around them quickly so that they don't end up getting into a larger gap to the car they're following. So he pulls to the inside, makes a look at the 5 car, but he's not there. The 66 is still running out front, maybe 5-6 car lengths from the 03, and likewise back to the 5 from the 0. And you got the T-Man looking high on Gil Gawk. They've both seen that the 5 is having some trouble here. 5 has got himself a wee bit of a handling issue and falling back into the clutches of these 2 competitors behind him. And again, they're all good race car drivers. They've all been running for years with the league. So they know, there's a time to go and there's a time not to go, and they're working on them, but they won't take any crazy chances like you would see in some of the open rooms. They're going to try and work that car over as best they can, make sure that they're going to pass them cleanly. We're all race fans here, all race veterans, and everybody wants to have clean and green clean stock car racing, and we've managed to build a really good league of racers. And that's what they are. They're racers. They're not gamers, by the way. There's a huge difference between racing and gamers, and this is sim racing at its best here. 66 has started putting some cars down a lap and has gapped the 03 by about, I'd say 10, 15, maybe 20 car lengths right there. 03 has gapped the 5 by about 10 car lengths. And then the 5 is holding up the 85 and the 26, as we noted there earlier. The 5, let's go and take a quick look at him here. He is doing all he can to stay ahead of the 85. That's a top 3 position right now. And you don't want to give up spots because it's very difficult to pass. As you see, the 85 of Gil Gock moves up the hill there. Probably got himself a little bit squirrely, but that allows the 26 to get by. The 26 is Timothy Wallace, and he's going to try and make a move on the 5 car here. If the 5 car is slowing these guys down, well, these competitors will get on the bumper and loosen them up. 26 looks like he's looking towards the inside of the 5 car, and he has the inside right now. So there he goes. He's looking to take away that 3rd spot. He does so. He takes away the 3rd spot from Wayne Grant in the 5 car. 85 of Gil Gock is now moving up to the back bumper of the 5 car, and he would like to do exactly the same thing. Get right past that 5 and then try and shorten that gap to the 03. You can see them now. They're lining up. These 3 working together have a better draft than the 3 all by himself out there. Again, this is not a plate track, but the drafting and the way that the cars have been built with so much downforce in them now, that if you can stay in the draft to somebody, you're much quicker than the car that's alone out there. And you see the 5 cars having all sorts of troubles here with the grip on that car, and it's sliding up the hill just about every corner right now. Gil is taking a look towards the inside, but the 5 pulls it back down and closes that door. You can see the 3 cars somewhat working together have caught up to the 03 of Michael Adams, and Ned Adams is out there in turn 1 right now as these guys cross the start-finish line, so he's really gapped the field. Let's go and have a quick look up there and see as we just break away from this action for a second. Yeah, there's a 66 car coming off of turn 4, headed for the stripe, and right now we'll go back down and take a look at Wayne Grass. There he is. He's still holding off Gil Gock. We have no caution yet. We've had the 2 early cautions at lap 35, went back green at lap 38, and we're currently lap 83 of 150, so we're past halfway in this race, and we've had just 2 cautions. Now these guys are running on some really used up tires now, and they'll probably be able to make it to somewhere around lap 95 on the tires. If they can, that would be the number, because they need to have roughly 55 laps left in the race to make it. That would at lap 95 would make it 55 exactly towards the end of the race, so they should be able to make it from there. You see the 66 up front. He's gotten away from this 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place battle, and they've gapped themselves back to the 7th and 8th place battle. Right now you can see them in the background there, but they're not lined up. They're not working together. So these fellas are pretty much all on their own. As you see the number 26 of T-Man Timothy Wallace making his way past the 03 of Michael Adams. T-Man's always had himself a good ability to race long green flag runs. Made his tires last so much back in the day. We used to say he had those Walmart special tires. Hard as heck, never wear out, but yeah, he would always show up at the end of a race and start tapping on your bumper, not literally, but tap on your shoulder, man. Hey, I'm going by. So you can see the gap right there that they've made over the 5 car, 10, 15 car lengths. Gil Gawk is still behind the 5 car, still unable to make his way around the 5 car. 5 car is experiencing some handling issues here. You can see it just by watching the way he's going around the track. And the 85 is looking like he can get by him, but he's gonna have to rough him up or something. And I don't think they want to do that. These guys, every one of these racers in here races week in and week out with each other, so you don't want to be roughing up a fellow driver, because race car drivers have a memory and they will never forget when they've been wronged on track, and that's just the nature of the beast. So these guys are working to try and get past each other for the next spot up there. Let's go back up front while these guys here are running. You can see that the 19 tires with that pit road, he's got fresh tires and he's making up some time here. He's getting back around the leader, and the leader has yet to pit. But you see fresh tires, what it does, it goes through the corner a lot better. And then once they go into this next corner, you'll see what fresh tires do. See how the 19's able to get it right down there and sort of pull a little bit of a gap on the 66? That's exactly what fresh tires. You see other cars starting to make their run down pit road as well. So green flag pit stops are about to happen throughout the field here. Within the next 5 to 10 laps, you're going to see all the cars on pit road making their final pit stop, unless a caution were to come out. Basically, your leader right now is Ned Adams in the number 66 Toyota Camry. That's sponsored by the Premier Race Network and Sim Racing Models, also by Clicking with Canines, and with the support of Mercer Race Car Engineering. Second place is Team-Ed Timothy Wallace in the 26 car. The 03 of Michael Adams in third, and in fourth would be Wayne Grass. In fifth, Gil Gawk is still hounding the 5 car. 94 of Steve Benjamin in sixth. Wes Hurd Jr. in the 12 is in seventh. In eighth, it'd be Justin Hurst, and Randall Ballard in ninth. Rob Denoff in the 39 car is in the top 10. Gene Wolfe, who is running up front in 642, is in 11th, then Robert Engelman, then Damon Lynch out of New Zealand, Blair Stevenson in 14th, Frank Weinset early running up front is in 15th, Tim Phillips in 16th, Everett Lane back to 17th, Cedric Regisian pass and take a lead lap is in 18th, Ken Allen, Edgar Hall, Matt Callentine, Anthony Hawkins in 22nd, Sean Ermacora is in 23rd, and Frank Preachok has taken his car behind the wall in 24th. Back to the lead, we have the 66 car. You see the gap that's been created by fresh tires? Well, that's the 19 car. He came out, he went into the pits earlier on and came out, and within a number of laps, he's put himself that far. That's about a quarter of the straightaway that he's been able to put on the 66 car, who is the leader of the race. So fresh tires do come in and are very important on this track. We're right now, what lap are we on right now? I gotta say, it's if it's getting close to 95, it's about time these guys start to pit, and the 66, the leader of the race, is pulling on pit road, so it's lap 95 right now. They're coming to lap 95, and the leader's on the pit lane. Some of the other guys are staying out. Timothy T-Man Wallace goes by. You can see Wayne going by there as well, and several other drivers that have made pit stops are coming out, and they're mixing in between these cars that are pitting currently and the ones that have been pulled out on pit road. You can see the team of the 66 car jumping over the wall, coming over to change the right side tires. Once they've got the right side tires on it, you'll see them running across, grab the left side tires. Very important to get your tires done here and get out as quickly as possible. And there you have it. Pit stop is complete. They've released the 66. He's heading back out onto the apron and will make his way around to turn 2, where he'll be permitted to join the racing track. Just after this blue cone, you'll see a blue line there. Boom. Now he's allowed to join the track. Steve Benjamin goes by in the number 94. At this point of the race, Timothy T-Man Wallace did stay out and lead that lap. Wes Hurd was in second. And you see Steve Benjamin there at that point. He's heading towards pit road as well. And that's normal. The quicker you can get there, as soon as you see them starting to pit, you got to get to pit road if you think you can make it to the end and get the good out of your tires. If you're not, if you're staying out, you're losing time to the drivers that have gone in and pitted. And let's see where they're going to come out right now. So let's have a quick rundown of who's who. Oh, that'll probably be reset shortly. You see the 12 car there of Wes Hurd Jr. hitting the apron and going towards pit lane. He had stayed out just an extra lap or two, but that'll put him back quite a bit. Because these cars on fresh tires are making up seconds a lap. So right now, after the pit stops, and we're on lap 98, Robert Engelman in the 69 is leading this. Wes Hurd, we just saw him heading to pit road. So Robert Engelman should be showing up in front of the 66 here, or heading down pit road shortly. We'll know the next time by if, in fact, that is the case. Robert Engelman was the car that was involved in that first wreck. Bounced off the wall, caught the 28, and put him all sorts of sideways. The second caution came out right on the get-go of the end of that caution. When the 66 got loose down low, and several other cars had nowhere to go, couldn't check up, and got all sorts of crossways and cars back and forth on the track. And that was the second caution, so they went back green after that. So let's see where they're landed here. As the 66 comes around the corner, we're going to have to wait and see if he's made back to the lead. The 21 of Tim Phillips is up front right now. Where is Tim? Tim Phillips is down pit road. So that puts the timing and scoring in question. We'll just have to wait a little bit here and see exactly where everybody's landed. There's Robert Engelman in that green car up front, so he's probably coming out of the pits as well, which would put the 66 back in the lead if I'm not mistaken. But we'll know here shortly. When they cross the line this time by, it should be the end of that cycle. And just gotta wait for that ticker to come by a little bit quicker. And lap 101. 66 of Ned Adams is back in the lead. 26 of T-Man. Timothy Wallace is in second. Michael Adams in the 03 is third. Tim Phillips, we saw going down pit road, will not be in fourth. The 5-car Wayne Grass is in fifth. 19 of Cindric Ingram, we saw him going past the leader earlier on fresh tires. Then Wes Hurd. Gil Gach in 8th, Randall Ballard in 9th, Steve Benjamin in 10th, and Justin Hurst in number 2 is 11th, Blair Stevenson in 12th, Gene Wolfe in the 642 is in 13th, Damon Lynch in 14th, Rob Denoff in 15th, and Robert Engelman, you see him there in the 69 car, currently 16th with Frank Weinstein in 17th, Everett Lane in 18th, Edgar Hall in 19th, 20th is Ken Allen, and the 96 of Matt Callentine is in 21st. 22nd is Anthony Hawkins. After extensive repair to his engine, was able to get back out. And Sean McCora in 23rd with Frank Peachock in 24th. So here's a revised running of the top 5. Ned, T-Man, Michael, Wayne, and Wes Hurd in 5th. You see the 69 has gone a lap down. He's right there behind the 66 of Ned Adams. Ned Adams comes through turn 1. They've only got some 50 laps to go here to settle this race. 2 cautions already early on in the race, and then from there it's been green flag running. These guys have been putting on quite a show. Last year's winner was the 66 car of Ned Adams. Matter of fact, he won the truck race last year, the Xfinity race, and the Cup race all in the same weekend. It was a pretty good feat. Back up front, lap 105, Ned Adams leads T-Man, Timothy Wallace, Michael Adams, Wayne Grass, Wes Hurd Jr., and Cindric Ingram. 85 of Gildock is up to 7th, Michael Ballard up to 8th in the 28 car. Steve Benjamin in the 94 is in 9th, and Justin Hurst rounds out to top 10. Blair Stevenson is in 11th. Damon Lynch out of New Zealand is running in 12th. Gene Wolfe in 13th. 14th place, Rob Denoff in the 39 car. And 15th, Robert Engelman. We just saw him go a lap down. There he is right there in the green car. Frank Weinset in 16th. Tim Phillips, who stayed out the lead lap, is in 17th. 18th, Everett Lane. Edgar Hull in 19th. Ken Allen in 20th. Matt Callentine in 21st in the 96. Anthony Hawkins in 22nd. Sean Amakora and Frank Peacock. The laps are starting to wear down here, and the drivers are starting to align themselves with other drivers, drafting, seeing if they can't hook up and catch back up and take some distance out of that lead. You can see right there as the 66 goes into 26 is now going across the start-finish line. He has Michael Adams in the 03 right behind him in 3rd position. These two working together, drafting, should be able to pull up on the 66. You see him heading off into turn 4 there, up in the distance. '26 down low on the 96. 96 of Matt Callentine there is a lap down. You see the 03 is closing up on these two. 03 is in 3rd place right now, right behind Timothy T-Man Wallace's number 26 Bacardi rum car. Behind them you see the 15, that's Frank Weinset. He was running up front earlier on in the top 5, and for some reason or another has fallen back a lap down, and not off pace, but somehow has fallen out of the top 15. Actually, he's running in 16th, a lap down. Wayne Grass was up front. He led a portion of this race. There he is. He's currently running in 4th place, just ahead of Gil Gott. They had a tremendous battle ongoing there for the longest time. Gil was unable to get past the car of Wayne Grass, and behind him you can see that is the number 12 of Wes Hurd Jr. and the 19 of Cindric Ingram, who are battling for 5th and 6th position. Gil Gott has made it past them, so he's now in the 5th position, and those two are battling for 6th and 7th. We have a pretty good battle going on here in this race. He's currently showing in 9th position and holding off Tim Phillips, who's in 17th right now after staying out for an extended run on older tires. That's the cost of it. He led some laps, but then stayed out a couple of laps too many, and well, that put him back quite a bit. That's Steve Benjamin there in the top 10. having himself a good night here. Made quite a few runs in preseason races that we held in the Open hosted. Won a few of them, and looks to be en route to get himself a victory here in the Cup Series. He's hoping at least this year, because I'll tell you what, he's improved substantially over the past year of racing. Got himself some really good equipment too, and that always goes towards helping the driver get the feel in sim racing. Back up front, you can see the 26 car and the 03. They're still running together here in second and in third, and putting on a really good show. They are actually cutting into the lead of the 66. At one point it was 6 seconds when they came out of the pits, and it's down to something like 4.5 seconds, 4.7 seconds right now. What that looks like from the in-car, well, we'll just hop on board with T-Man right now. This is T-Man, and he's coming up on Robert right there in front of him. But that's Ned Adams right up there, just went across the stripe. You see him out of the left corner of the windshield here, going into turn 1. That's your distance. That's roughly 5 seconds right there. So if these guys can drive together, that'll make these cars faster, and they'll be able to close that gap. You see that the 66 is also coming up on some traffic here. Let's go and have a look at through his windshield to see what he's looking at. Quite a bit of traffic right up in front. There's that 66 Toyota still out front. Quite a bunch of laps here. I only lost the lead at one point when he got a bad pit stop, and when he came out of pit road on the green, got himself loose and fell back a little bit, but has since he made short work of getting back to the front, and then held on to it ever since. Green flag pit stops cycled through, and we had some other leaders, but majority of the race has been the 66 car up front. Really not much of a challenge from the cars behind, except for T-Man. T-Man's been slowly gaining on the 66. You can see here how close he's getting right now. He's got around Robert Engelman there. Michael Adams in the 03s behind these two has gotten close to Robert Engelman, but has yet to tie on and pull himself up to the 26 car. Wayne Grass, let's go back. He's been passed by the 85 car here of Joe Dock, and behind them that's Wes Hurd Jr. and Randall Ballard in the 12 and 28 car respectively. That's your fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh place cars at this time. All running together like a straight line right through that wind. Catch up and pass. Back up front, T-Man still leading this pack here, trying to close in on the 66. 66 has managed to get away. Pulled past the lap down car that is Everett Lane. Comes up a bit of a struggle. That's about 4 seconds back to T-Man right now, and he's going into turn 1. That is actually that's Anthony Hawkins in 35, but the 66 is coming up, so you can see there's quite a pack of vehicles right in front of the leader here, and he'll be needing to use up the draft off of these cars, try and pull himself a little bit of a distance between the 26 and himself. The 26 has gotten past Robert Engelman and is running in front of him, but now there's no one towing him along, so the roles are reversed. Now the 66 has somebody to draft with, and is able to make a little bit more speed, enlarge that gap. But you can see quite a few cars up front battling for position. That's always a concern when you're leading a race and you're trying to make your way through the field. Who's going to be looking in the mirror and who's battling for position amongst these lap down cars? they're not necessarily lap down yet either. Some of them may be trying to hang on to the tail end of the lead lap or stay on the lead lap should a caution come out. So they're battling for position. They're also battling for their lap on any given race for that matter. So they're trying to hang on to the lead lap, and the leader's trying to get through as quickly as can, so he won't be losing any ground to the second place car. It's taken half a race to get this type of a gap on second place for the leader, so you definitely don't want to be giving it up behind someone who's potentially a lap down or off pace with the leader. And you can tell when the 66, the leader comes up on you here, he's closing in quite quickly, and that should be notice enough. When a fellow pulls up behind you and he's closed the gap 3 to 4 seconds in a couple of laps, your best option is just to roll out of the throttle, roll up a little bit high and let him on by, and then tuck in behind and follow him for as best as you can. Right there, Ken Allen, he's already laps down, so he just rolls up and lets the 66 go on by. The 75 up front, right now in front of the 66 car, is still in the lead lap. He's in 14th. Oh my goodness, he caught that apron and shot up the track. Yeah, he's in 14th right now, so a little bit of an apron action going on right there as he gets loose in front of the leader. The leader then moves to the high side, and the 75 of Blair Stevenson, he pulls it down low and allows the leader to go on by. Gracious of the 75 car to let the leader go on by without holding him back or holding him off. Trying to stay on the lead lap. Right now the 75 is in the lucky dog position should a caution come out. So in a case where that happens, you want to get behind the leader and then just follow and hopefully stay in that lucky dog position should a caution come out. Up front you can see there's another pack of cars that have a hold on the lead lap for the moment, but with the pace of the 66, he's closing in and eventually going to lap some of these drivers in the closing laps. And again, what type of a battle is he going to have? What type of a battle are these lead lap cars going to want to put on the leader to maintain that lead lap? Well, the 35 car, Anthony Hawkins, is many laps down. He had an engine go bad early on, and they had to work on that engine for 30 minutes or so. So he's way out of pace in 22nd position. So the 66 has made it past those cars for now and is heading towards the next little group of cars. I believe that's the 642, and the 642 is in, I believe, 13th position, if I'm not mistaken. So this thing going green as it is, we're going to have quite a few cars lap down. Yeah, 642 is in 13th, and you can see the 66 is closing the gap on him here. The 66 can get it right down to the apex and lets it roll up high. He's really able to maintain his run off the corners and gives him a lot of momentum down the straightaways. See, as he gets it down into the corner here, you let it roll up high. There you go, right up high. And then closing that gap to the 642. As you see there was a car going down pit road. I think that was the 19 of Cindric Ingram. He had pitted early as well in the last pit cycle. So not sure how that's going to affect the outcome. He was running up in the top 10 early on. The 66 now pulling up on the back of the 642 of Gene Wolfe. Once again, whenever a driver comes up, a lead car comes up on the back of a lap down or potentially lap down car, there's always the potential for that car to want to hold that position, to maintain that lead lap standing and not allow the leader to go on by easily But the 642 runs her up to the high side there and allows the 66 to go on by. 66 now puts the 13th place car a lap down and heads off into turn 1, looking for the next vehicle in line, which would be the 81 of Damon Lynch. Damon Lynch, out of New Zealand, has been putting on some pretty good shows of late, running in the trucks, the Xfinity, and the Cup Series you saw right there. A little bit of a connection issue because the car is not lost or anything. And actually, he's in 11th place right now. Damon Lynch is. I believe that was the 19, having to pit, pulled himself out of the top 10, which moved these guys up one spot. So right now in 11th is the 81 car. He is the last car on the lead lap at this point. The 66 is looking to take him off the lead lap, and there's more smoke. So yet another connection issue. It's not actually the 81 of Damon Lynch. We'll have to take a look up front and see who is actually having that connection problem. Oh, it's Justin Hurst in the 2 car. Justin Hurst is having himself a wee bit of a connection problem. We'll get a different look at it here. There he is, disappearing and reappearing, disappearing and reappearing. Let me go to Rob Denoff from the 39. Yeah, you see the 2 car right there? That's one of those internet things. For some reason or another, he's losing connection and reappears. And kind of a scary thing to come up on when you're the leader and you're lapping, in the closing laps, lapping cars that are disappearing and reappearing, because you never know exactly where they're going to reappear, and that could cost you the race. Back up here, we'll have a good look at what Ned is seeing through the windshield of the 66 car. It looks like the 2 car has stabled itself out and is not blinking anymore. See him right up front there, running with Rob Denoff. Let's do a lap here with the 66 car. Just see what type of a car he's got. He's handling right down to the line and let it roll up here. Get it back down to the line at the tri-oval. Pass the stripe, let it go up to the wall. And cut back down into the corner. Try to get to the apex right here. And then again, go up to the wall. Go right up to the wall. And drive straight down here. Arc it in again. The least amount of movement on the wheel is what you're looking for, the steering wheel that is, and if you can get this car to just run nice and smooth up there, that's where you want it to go. You want it to go up in the high lane and be as smooth as it can possibly be. Here he is coming in, closing in on that 2 car and the 39 car. You can see how they're getting closer to him. He's shortening the gap. Right down the line here. And that was a lap or 2 around Las Vegas with the leader. Now, just about 10 laps to go in this race, and the 66 has pulled himself out a nice gap over 2nd place, roughly 5, almost 6 seconds on T-Man Timothy Wallace. Let's go back and see where T-Man is, coming off a 2 as the leader goes into 3. So a full straightaway is the difference. Behind him, Michael Adams has lost about half a lap back. Well, half a straightaway, I'm sorry. Half a straightaway to T-Man Timothy Wallace. T-Man's got himself a magnificent car there and heading towards the in 4th place. You had Wayne Grass, but Gil Gok managed to get around him after many attempts. Here the 5 goes low. Will he make the pass on the 85? That's Randall Ballard in the 28 coming up. Is he going to push the 5? Or is he going to go with Gil Gok? Gil Gok slams the door on the 5 car, pulls back down in front of him here in turn 3 and 4. The 5 car still got himself a wee bit of a push. But the 5 car is our defending series champion. Won a lot of races. You don't give up. You always got to keep going at it. And he's going to make a move here and see if he can't get back in front of Gill's car. Gill running that 85 car out of the Geezer's garage is working well with his team and got himself in a couple of good finishing spots here. Finished well at Daytona as well. You can see these two 3 race car drivers are all veterans of the league. With the 5 car being the defending series champion. He's really working over the back of Gill's car. Gill worked him over for a good portion of the race, so I guess it's right back at you. You can see Mike Adams up there in front. He got himself a wee bit of a gap on these 3 and hopes to maintain that 3rd position. Be a nice finish for Mike in the 2020 season, starting out the year like that. Back up front, you can see the 66 has caught Rob Danoff in the 39, and that is the 10th position car. We will put the driver of the 39 1 lap down here in the closing laps, and he heads towards Justin Hurst. Justin Hurst, where is Justin running right now? I think he's in 9th. Yes, he is. He's in 9th position, so one heck of a dominant run with the 66 car. That's thanks to MRE, or Mercer Race Car Engineering, who helped out with setups for the last bit of the season in the Cup Series and the beginning of the 2020 season. Actually, the last 4 races, if you go back to last year. 66 won the Phoenix race and then went to Homestead, won that race. Came to Daytona, won that race, and is now looking in control of this 4th race in a row. That would be 4 wins in a row for a Mercer Race Car Engineer setup. Gotta tell you, it's pretty solid, pretty good setups, and sure is a good feeling to get into a car with that type of engineering in it. And making the move on the outside of the 9th place car is the leader in the 66. Moves around the high side and runs right up against the wall. Makes sure there's no internet problems and gets around them and heads on down here. How many laps left in this race? Well, let me just wait for this ticker to get on by, and I'll be able to tell you. Well, you can actually look at the ticker and you can tell yourself that not much left in this race. Let's see if we're looking at 148, 149. Let's see if the white flag comes out this time by. If it does, we'll see him waving that white flag up there. Yes, it is. There's the white flag waving in the flag in his hand as they go on by. 66 has 1 more lap to go as he goes past Frank Weinset in the 15 car there, with Justin Hurst in 9th place following along behind him. He'll be able to pull off the win here if he doesn't have any weird disconnections or engine failures coming off of turn 4. He's got the checkered flag in sight, and there it is. 225 miles at Las Vegas, complete and in the books. The 66 pulls off the win back of him. There's the 26 of T-Man Timothy Wallace. There is Mike Adams in the 03, looking for the 3rd place, last step on the podium. Behind him, you see Wayne has managed to get around Gil Gock and brought Randall Ballard with him. Gil Gock finished in 6th. Steve Benjamin made it through to 7th. Wes Hurd Jr. in the 12th made it through to 8th. In 9th, Justin Hurst. We saw him get a lap down in the late closing laps. Then the 39 of Rob Danoff. Damon Lynch out of New Zealand made it to 11th. Blair Stevenson in 12th. Robert Engelman in 13th. Gene Wolfe in 14th, Tim Phillips in 15th, Cedric Ingram in 16th, and 17th, Frank Weinset. Everett Lane in 18th, 19th would be Edgar Hull, Ken Alland in 20th, Matt Callentine in 21st, 22nd was Anthony Hawkins out of the UK, Sean Ermacora in 23rd, and in last place Frank Peacock. We saw him have some problems, technical issues, ended up disconnecting. 66 is doing the donuts and quite content. That's 4 wins in a row in the Cup Series. 2 in 2019 to close out the year, and then 2 to open the year here in 2020. Can he keep it up? Can he take that championship away from Wayne Grass? We'll have to check in this Tuesday. Upcoming Tuesday, we're going to have the Cup cars at Auto Club Speedway, also known as California. So we'll wait and see how they're going to be able to go and run there. And down the backstretch into turn 2 and heading towards turn 1 is the 66 car. Quite content again, happy to put that car in victory lane here for another time in 2020. 2 in a row for the 66 team in 2020. And then we get a few more donuts there before we ended up going into pit lane. Simmortal, Clicking with Canines, Mercer Race Car Engineering, Premier Race Network, Can-Am, all on board the 66 this year. And that was your race rundown. Congratulations to 66, to Timothy Wallace, and to Mike Adams on their finishes. And we're going to bid you good night and put up the upcoming race schedule on the Premier Race Network before we shut down the program. So good night. Take care, everyone.